Hello, my Jason O. Welcome to my movie review for the live-action movie adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist. And so this movie came out in Japan December 1st and was released on Netflix February 19th. The director is Fumihiko Sori. It is based on the 2002 manga by Hiromu Arakawa and has been adapted into an anime 2 times in 2003, which sort of differs from the manga slightly. The manga was still going on during that time, and so they came out with their own original story. And in 2009, in Brotherhood, that series follows the manga more faithfully. I enjoy the whole entire series in general, not only the manga series, but the original anime 2003. Really enjoy what they did there. Really adds more to the story. And even 2009 Brotherhood, really enjoyed that story there. And so for the live action movie, I wasn't really expecting a one-to-one, adaptation. I was really hoping that they would adapt some things, make their own sort of story out of it, which they did. However, instead of adding more to the series, it kind of retracted the series a bit. It really felt like a fan film, which I'm not really a big fan of fan films. That was a really negative adjective there I would put onto this film. It really felt like a bad fan film. Some of the wigs and costumes weren't really that great, and some of the acting is pretty shoddy as well. And so a more disappointing venture here into live action anime adaptations that we've seen these past couple of years. Death Notes I reviewed on this channel. I wasn't really a big fan of that there, but I think a lot of people saw that movie was so bad it's good. However, this one is just really bad. There's nothing really much to enjoy out of it. At least for me anyway, I'm more optimist. I think I enjoy a couple things from this adaptation here and there, but they weren't good enough to really fulfill my enjoyment of the movie overall. And so I will say in this video that this will be a spoiler review. I'll probably put this in the title as well, but just to reiterate, this is a spoiler review. I will be spoiling all the plot points here in this movie. And so if you haven't really seen the movie just yet, either watch it for yourself, make your own opinion out of it, or just listen to what I have to say about all the changes in the plots and changes in characters as well. Most importantly, the villains, the homunculi are very much downgraded into B villains, which they should not be. At least they're B villains in terms of Father, the main villain of Fullmetal Alchemist, but still they are very much a big key cogs into each sort of section of the story, which they only adapted the first third of the manga. But for the homunculi that are involved, you have lust, envy, and gluttony. Lust and envy especially, they are very compelling villains, very complex villains, and the way they are treated here isn't really that great, especially their ending. They die by the hands of Roy Mustang. And so for Mustang, he definitely does kill off envy and lust in the manga and the anime. However, there is a bigger emotional impact behind those with the struggle, especially with the death of Hughes. That from the hands of lust and envy, all the other homunculi, seeing the catharsis that Mustang goes through of destroying these homunculi that really have sort of fractured his life. And there is a little bit of that there in the live-action movie. However, there isn't really enough of it to really warrant this huge emotional reaction, really getting this fulfillment of destroying these villains. It just happens, and that's really a lot of what happens in the movie, is that things happen, but there's no really emotional impact behind it, especially the big reveal of Nina and Alexander being formed into a chimera. They had that scene there, and 2003 anime really does really well, really adapting that scene of the reactions of Ed and Al and everyone else of the chimera that's shown there, especially with Scar, his involvement with that scene, which he's not in the movie at all, and so he is very much omitted as the anti-hero of the story, very compelling anti-hero of the story. And the way they adapted the scene there isn't really that great. There's not really much emotional impact behind it. The CGI is pretty bad for the furry dog character that they do have, and so but overall the CGI was pretty good though, despite that bad CGI. I would say for Alphonse, the CGI for Alphonse is really great. He really does look realistic, really blends in with the scenes. However, it doesn't really seem like they invested a lot into CGI, since his character takes a really much a big downgrade as well. Lots of scenes involving him are so omitted for having Ed as your main protagonist for very much a lot of the scenes, and so that's really disappointing as well, since Al is a really great character, and his role in the series, at least in the movie here, is very much downgraded. Other key characters I noticed were omitted were Rose, kind of. I mean, she's kind of there, but even then, in the manga, and she has more of involvement in 2003 anime than Brotherhood and any other adaptation there. And you also have Major Armstrong. I know he's a big muscular guy, but still, he was omitted. You're very much the heart of the series for many fans. Izumi Curtis, the teacher for Ed and Al, she's omitted there. That's a really strong female character you could have had in this series, especially having your main protagonist being taught by a very strong woman, very much like a Yu Yu Hakusho sort of thing with Yusuke and Genkai, that relationship there. You kind of omit that character. That's really disappointing. And of course, Scar, as I mentioned before, he's omitted as well. And so in omitting those characters, they gave bigger roles for Sho Tucker, not only for the Nina scene, but also giving him the main villain role. They increased his role to make him more detestable, which I guess kind of worked. I mean, they added in the zombie homunculi army thing from the the last sort of arc of the manga into this the climax of the movie, and that was a mistake there, because the zombie homunculi army isn't exactly a moment that fans literally clamor for, and so adding that in there into this movie was a questionable choice, making General Hokuro a very small character into this mastermind villain, making this plot twist that this General Hokuro character was the mastermind behind everything, behind the homunculi, between Tucker as well, and trying to create this army to overtake the government. That was pretty weak in terms of a reveal, since it seemed pretty obvious that this character that has a very small role is given a bigger one as well in terms of a main villain. Even General Bradley was omitted as well, and obviously his character as Wrath has a much bigger role into the story, and his character is pretty much omitted overall. And so this is a really bad movie that didn't really do justice for his character. Tsubasa Honda, she did a good job at portraying Winry Rockbell. I really liked her performance. Ryota Sato as Mace Hughes, he was really good as well. Those only performances I could really cling on to and really enjoy. But other than that, Mustang, his portrayal was more stoic and brooding. He did not get more of his other sides of his character that I really enjoy from Mustang. Riza Hawkeye, speaking of strong female characters before, she's the pinnacle of that for this series, and her badassery is more implied, especially during that battalion scene against the homunculi zombies. Her scenes were just omitted. There was implied badassery with her standing over all these bodies, but I would have loved to see Hawkeye being all badass against these homunculi zombies, and even then her lighter sides as well aren't really shown as well. And so lots of characters weren't given the justice they were given. The themes, there were attempts at that, keeping that there, especially the brotherly bond that Ed and Al share. But however, there is no emotional impact behind that. Especially with, I would say, the bigger theme of Fullmetal Alchemist is the idea that alchemy is never the answer to everything. They find out the Philosopher's Stone to create that is for human sacrifices, and they find out that POW soldiers are being used to create more Philosopher's Stones. It's a really big reveal for the brothers who are trying to get their bodies back, especially for Alphonse, and they kind of have that there in this movie, but it wasn't really given the emotional depth that it needed to really make this a compelling movie of any sort. And so I'm not sure whether they're going to make a sequel or not. They definitely plan on making a sequel, judging by the ending, especially since they only adapted the first third of the manga. However, there was no US release or any international release that I'm aware of, because the box office in Japan wasn't really that good anyway, so that's probably why this got a Netflix license. And so I'm not sure if this movie actually made any money to warrant a sequel, but if they do make a sequel, they need a huge change in production and, maybe a new director perhaps. The script was apparently good, according to the director himself. He gave the script to Arakawa, the mangaka of Fullmetal Alchemist, and she really liked the script, and so maybe the script was good, but the direction didn't really reflect that at all, and so that was really disappointing to hear, since it turns out apparently Arakawa, she really liked the script, and so maybe there was something good about this movie. However, we did not get to see any of that, and so for rating for this movie, I give this one a D rating. There's some small things to look forward to. Some of the performances were pretty well done. I think Ryosuke Yamada as Ed did as good of a job as he could for the performance that he gave. As I said before, the Winry character, Maze Hughes, especially Maze Hughes, he was really the big bright points of the movie. He really portrayed the character very well, true to the story, true to the source material, I should say. And so, other than that, shoddy CGI. The themes weren't really that well done, especially the scene where Ed sees Al's body. That emotional impact wasn't there as I got from seeing that scene in Brotherhood, where you have Ed promising that he'll get Al's body back, with the ending theme going on in the background as well. That scene was omitted, and they kind of tried to do the scene again, but still wasn't really given the emotional depth that it needed. And so on the surface level, everything was there. However, the execution and the depth of characters and themes were not there at the end of the day. And so what did you think about this live-action adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. And what's your favorite live-action anime adaptation so far? Or are there any other live-action adaptations that you're looking forward to into the future? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. And make sure to give this video a like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you for watching my movie review for the live-action adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist. Hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.